Hello everybody, Jason Leia back here again, and today we are going to be reviewing Marvel's newest installment in their so far successful Marvel Netflix universe. We have here another show to review called Iron Fist. The story is about Danny Rand, who survived a plane crash when he was like 10 years old, and came back a few years later to New York City to get everything back from him, get his company back, earn his friends back. And while he struggled to do all that, there is the group of villains called the Hand in New York City. We know them in Daredevil Season 2. We got introduced to them there, get introduced to them even further, as they are the main focal point of the show. It will be the main focal point in the new Defenders show coming this year. So, what are my thoughts on this? So far, I have absolutely loved all of these shows. I loved Daredevil Season 1 and Season 2. I love Jessica Jones. I fucking love Luke Cage. Despite there being a bit of a bad twist in it, it didn't stop me from having so much fun, having so much enjoyment in it, and I was really excited to see this. And then the negative reviews came in. This is Marvel's very first critical failure. But the critics are still not enough for this show to get a lot of positive attention from audiences then and now, because a lot of people still enjoy this. And I'm one of those people. However, I don't think any of us, including myself, think it is on par as the best. I mean, it is enjoyable. I like the show. But there's a lot of problems that could have been fixed, and I think is why critics turned off from this show. First off, one of my big problems is that this show is more slow-paced. That is fine, but there's a few times where there's like a dialogue sequence where it could have been just cut out. I mean, there's a few boring stuff in it that slow the show down. And there's a few characters that get introduced each time that don't really add much to the show. And there's just so many other characters being introduced in every episode that it's hard to focus on who to go in each story. While I do think the stories in Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil were handled very well, even if there's other stories around it, they handle those stories very well. This one jumbled around a lot of them and didn't know what to do and didn't know who to focus on. I had a very hard time. The villain, it did a bit of a mixed match between the Hand's leader and another member of the Rand family who I won't spoil. I don't know who is who, which one is the main villain. They are intimidating. You know where they're coming from. I really like them, but I have a hard time focusing on who to be more threatened by. I really wish that they could just make up their mind, give us whoever's the main villain, and really make the show more interesting like that. Like, give it a little bit of a twist in Luke Cage, except you could have made it better. So yeah, this is pretty much a very slow show, but I would hate to not admit that this show does have really cool moments and really good characters and great action sequences. Not great, they're really good action sequences, they're really enjoyable and fun, but the action sequences, apart from one really cool hallway fight, the hallway fights in these shows are so phenomenal. Every battle sequence, every showdown is a little bit forgettable. I mean, I remember every showdown, every other Netflix series. Luke Cage versus the criminals in the hallway fight. Luke Cage versus his brother. Daredevil versus Punisher. Daredevil versus Kingpin. Jessica Jones versus, in the mind, whatever called. Jessica Jones versus the Purple Man. I mean, those battle sequences are memorable. This one, apart from one fight sequences, while they are enjoyable, they aren't as memorable. But they are still really good. The characters actually are more fleshed out and actually a bit dark, and the show deeps digger into each one as it goes on. I mean, you think that this character will be this character, but while it kind of gives you that, it goes deeper into them and make them even more darker and to make them understandable. The characters that you didn't like that are in the beginning, you like them and understand them more and more as the show goes on. And this is by far Marvel the most lighthearted show. I have to admit, there's a cool arrangement of pop music in this. However, this show doesn't use that music in the beginning from then on. It could have given that cool, unique style that I had like Luke Cage. Another problem that I have with this show, though, is New York doesn't have much of a character. We see the character in Harlem. New York feel like a character in it. You actually see the culture. You actually see how Hell Kitchen is Hell Kitchen. How corrupt it is. How New York and Jessica Jones is like full of torn up people. And here, you have more of an old style Marvel Cinematic Movie Universe kind of New York. It's not really much of a big problem. It is a nitpick, but it's something that I want to point out there that I really missed to see in this show. But Danny Rand is awesome in this show. I mean, everything with him, I really like the acting. Even with all the characters, everybody acted very well. His character, I really enjoyed it. He isn't as boring. And critics, I know this is your opinion, but are you really going to complain about the show just because your lead character is white? What the fuck? Sometimes critics just piss me off sometimes. I know sometimes it's their opinion. I can understand them why they won't like Suicide Squad or Batman v Superman and why they might like Ghostbusters. But having to complain about the character being white, it is just too far, man. It's just too far. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, the actor, he was really good. I don't care if he's white or Asian. As long as he had good character, I'm fine, and he does. I wish critics could see just beyond that. Because not all of the kung fu stuff had to be by an Asian. That's my little rant on critics being dumbasses. So anyway, I really like the character of the Iron Fist, Danny Rand. Finn Jones played him really good. I can't wait to see him in the Defenders. And whenever I had to say this, every time he pulled out his Iron Fist, every time he uses his chi, it is awesome. The visuals here are so good. The visuals in this show is actually really good. It has a unique style to it. This is an enjoyable show. It is not as bad as critics say, but it is definitely not the best Iron Fist show that we could have gotten. I do have a few nitpicks, a few problems, but overall, I had a really good time with the Iron Fist, and I'm gonna give it a B+. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.